Welcome and good evening. Tonight I have a collection of 4 short scary stories that will hopefully plague your dreams tonight. And with that said, let's begin. It took exactly 2 minutes. That's how long it took to walk my dog Ted across the block and back to my front door. Our nightly walk, a routine. The exact same 4 house floor plans in our boring subdivision. The exact same tree sniff and pea spots. And the exact same question. Do I lock the door? I've locked the door thousands of times, thousands, and each time no murderers breached our doors, no monsters shambled through the garden window, and no spectres waited in hiding for me to return. Tonight I took the risk. Tonight I left the door unlocked for Ted's walk. What's the worst that could happen? He peed, we returned. I closed and locked the door. Concretely, safely. Nothing ever happens in our safe subdivision or safe city. I felt paranoid though. I needed to be sure. I checked my security cam history. I laughed at myself, imagining the intruder picking this one particular night of all nights. The first night that I lazily leave the door unlocked. Just this one dog loop. Just this one short walk. He wielded a hand axe. He opened the door. He smiled and winked at the camera. He closed the door, animatedly leaving it unlocked. Activity detected 2 minutes ago. I winced, trying to block out the screams. In some stroke of terrible luck, my flight is half populated by little brats, the kinds whose parents ignore them and make no attempt at discipline. The seatbelt signs are off and I need a shit, so perhaps the toilet can offer a brief respite. As I head towards the back of the cabin, a plump red-faced slob trudges out from the toilet. Great. Maybe his miasmic aftermath will choke me to death. That'd spare me from being gurgled and screamed at for the next 2 hours. I turn the lock, unbuckle my belt and plop down onto the uncomfortably warm seat. This one's going to be a cement block, I can tell. A real Elvis killer. After a few minutes of straining, I noticed something changed. The idle chit-chat and immature squeals have dissipated. In place, there's this uniform sound of amazement. That's what I'd call it. Subdued gasps of wonder. God, that fat oaf really blew up this toilet. It smells worse now. Coppery and like piss. Did he vomit in here too? The fuck? I only realised the source of the stench after sensing my toes getting soggy. Looking down, I pull my feet up in horror. A murky concussion of reds and browns leaks under the door. My nagging sphincter goes quiet. I pull my pants up, then reach for the lock. Before I can slide the bolt, a series of deafening bangs ring out from the cabin. Panic overtakes me and I lunge for the bolt, managing to unlatch it and kick open the door. Like a dam bursting, the toilet's flooded. It's up to my knees. God, this smell. It's so much worse now. Before another thought, the plane jerks and I'm thrown forward into the opposite wall. I manage to keep balance and wade over to the end of the aisle. I'm simultaneously confused, dumbstruck and horrified. Most of the passengers are missing. The few that remain huff into oxygen masks. A long row of bright spots glide across the ceiling, left to right, so intense it leaves stains in my retinas. I can't see what the light's coming from, but it's obvious where it's bleeding through. Every window in the cabin's left side is broken. The air's thinning. Past the black dots invading my sight, I can make out something caught on the jagged remnants of windows, fluttering, torn strips. Varying shades of beige, brown and white. There are drained pink underneath. It reminds me of raw chicken, only not a micron of blood leaks from them. Realising I've been standing for far too long, I lurch towards the nearest oxygen mask. My sense of balance is gone, and my fingers graze the mask as my leg is caught on an armrest. I can't see, it's dark, it's cold. I collapse to the floor into a warm and sticky embrace. It's still dark, but at least I'm not cold anymore. I didn't grow up popular with many friends, but I never imagined how lonely my life would turn out. I never got married and I didn't have kids. I spend a lot of my free time online. There are a few people I talk to regularly, but it doesn't feel like enough. At times I feel like the weight of my loneliness keeps me from enjoying anything else. My absence from people only perpetuates my ability to make friends. On the good days, everything feels inadequate. On the bad days, it's crushing. The other day I found an obscure post on Reddit on a ritual to help lonely people. To be honest, it seemed stupid, and I didn't believe in magic. But it was something to pass the time, so I said what the heck, it's not like I'm busy with my friends. Late one night, filled with boredom, I followed the instructions. I lit the candles, I drew the symbols on the floor, and chanted incantation. I wasn't scared or anything, I'm not a wimp, but it was creepy, even for me. The air was heavy with sorrow that night, and the final words left my lips. The room grew cold, and then nothing. Nothing happened, as I figured from the beginning. I stayed up watching some videos and then went to bed. However, a few nights later, once the sun set, these people started appearing in my yard. They looked old and their skin looked grey. They would stand there looking for me through the windows in the dark. I've never let them in, but when I listen to them, they speak in low, hushing, mournful tones, telling me how they died and how they need me. I try not to look into their eyes, they're sullen and filled with desperation. I think I'm the only one that can see them. As soon as the police show up, the old people are gone. I've done it 3 times already, and they've said I can't call anymore, else they might charge me for prank calling an emergency line. This all started with a few of them, now there are dozens. What's worse is they've started getting into the house. Tonight they're all standing outside of my bedroom door trying to get in. I can hear their hushed voices overlap. I'm tired, I haven't gotten sleep in days. I'm afraid they will never stop visiting me with their anguish. All I want is to just be left alone. I've been blessed most of my life. I got a good job out of college, got a good deal on a house, and I even managed to get the love of my life, Sarah. Of course, like with most people, there were struggles. We always knew that having kids naturally wasn't going to be possible, so we tried every artificial way in the book for years. Nothing worked. We very nearly gave up until we stumbled upon a company doing some very innovative work. After 3 long years of trials, Sarah was finally pregnant. Sarah and I were over the moon ecstatic. Being a dad was something I'd dreamed about for a long time, and I knew Sarah felt the same way about being a mother. The next couple of months were filled with decorating the nursery, buying baby clothes, and even taking newborn classes. The problem with such excitement, however, is that when things don't work out how you'd hoped, it will be devastating. We lost the baby. The company that we'd been working with said that with such new technology, things like this could happen. They offered to try again at no charge, but we were too distraught to even consider it. We were broken. All that was between us for days was silence. Neither of us could put how we felt into words, nor would we be able to say them without crying anyway. Sarah went into a deep spiral. I would constantly find her in her nursery weeping on the floor. Every time I would try to comfort her, she would push me away. Finally, after a few weeks, I was lying in bed alone. Sarah quietly came in and laid down next to me. It was the first time we had touched since we lost the baby. She told me that she loved me, but that she didn't want to try again. She couldn't bear to go through this pain again. I pulled her in and caressed her neck with my hand. We fell asleep in each other's arms. Sarah was gone when I woke up. Startled, I got up and examined the room and saw no sign of her. I walked downstairs to the kitchen and found Sarah cooking breakfast. She had a big smile as she made me a big plate of bacon and eggs. I can't wait for our appointment today, honey. I know this is going to be the one. I walked towards Sarah and examined her neck where I had been touching last night in bed. The LED screen read, "Reboot successful, at last save checkpoint." I smiled back and hugged her. I really couldn't ask for a better wife. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed, then you might enjoy some of the videos up on screen now as equally as much. And with that said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Thank you.